The war had ended 3 months ago, but the scars remained fresh across the colonies. Lieutenant Damien Cross walked through the ruins of Europa Station with heavy boots and an even heavier heart. The settlement had once been home to 50,000 souls. Now it was a graveyard of twisted metal and shattered dreams. The Zentari Empire had withdrawn after the peace accords were signed, leaving behind only questions and destruction. Damien was part of the cleanup crew, assigned to sweep the underground facilities for any remaining threats. At 32, he had seen more battles than he cared to remember. His dark hair was streaked with premature gray, and his green eyes carried the weight of too many lost friends. He preferred working alone now. It was safer that way for everyone involved. The entrance to Research Station 7 yawned before him like the mouth of some ancient beast. His scanner showed faint energy readings deep below, which was impossible. All Zentari technology should have been deactivated when they left. Damien checked his plasma rifle and descended into the darkness. The stairs seemed to go on forever, spiraling down into the frozen moon's crust. Emergency lights flickered weakly, casting dancing shadows on walls covered in frost. His breath formed clouds in the frigid air. The temperature dropped with each step until he could feel the cold seeping through his tactical suit. At the bottom, he found a corridor lined with sealed doors. Most were marked with scientific designations he did not recognize, but one door at the far end pulsed with a soft violet glow. His scanner went wild as he approached, detecting energy signatures unlike anything in the database. Damien placed his hand on the access panel. It responded immediately, as if it had been waiting for him. The door slid open with a hiss of pressurized air, and warm light spilled into the corridor. He stepped inside, weapon ready. The chamber was large and circular, dominated by a cylindrical containment pod in the center. Cables snaked across the floor, connecting to banks of humming machinery. But what captured his attention was a figure inside the pod. She floated in translucent blue liquid, eyes closed, silver hair drifting around her face like silk underwater. Her skin had a faint luminescence, pale as moonlight with patterns of darker silver tracing across her shoulders and arms like living tattoos. She wore what appeared to be ceremonial armor, form-fitting and elegant, marked with symbols of royalty. Damien had seen Zentari warriors before, but never one like her. Even unconscious, she radiated power and grace. Her features were delicate yet strong, with high cheekbones and full lips. She looked almost human, except for the slight points of her ears and the ethereal quality of her presence. He circled the pod slowly, studying controls. The readouts were in Zentari script, but his translator worked through them. Subject designation was Princess Velora, third daughter of the Zentari High Council. Status was suspended animation, maintained for experimental purposes. Duration was 4 years. For years, she had been trapped here since before the final battles, abandoned by her own people. Anger flared in his chest. Whatever else the Zentari were, they should not have left royalty to rot in a human prison. Damien found the release mechanism and hesitated. This could be a trap, she could be dangerous. But something in her peaceful expression made him think of all the prisoners of war who had suffered needlessly. He had to try. He initiated the sequence. The liquid began to drain, and the pod opened with a soft click. Velora's eyes snapped open, glowing with inner fire the color of amethyst. She gasped and fell forward, and Damien caught her instinctively. Her skin was warm beneath his hands, almost feverishly hot. She looked up at him with those incredible eyes, confusion and fear warring in their depths. Then recognition dawned, and she jerked away, stumbling against the pod. "Human," she breathed, and her voice was like music wrapped in smoke. "You dare touch me?" "Easy," Damien said, raising his hands peacefully. "The war is over. I'm here to help." She laughed bitterly, a sound that sent shivers down his spine. "Help? Your kind imprisoned me, experimented on me, used my very essence to fuel your weapons." She swayed, and he reached out again, but she flinched away. "Do not touch me." "Then tell me how to help you," he said quietly. "I didn't know you were here." Nobody did. Velora studied him with those piercing eyes, and he felt as though she was looking straight into his soul. After a long moment, She spoke again, her tone softer. There is nothing you can do. The bonding has already begun. What bonding? She touched her chest, right over her heart, and Damien felt a sudden warmth bloom in the same spot on his own body. His eyes widened in shock. The experiments, Velora explained, her expression a mixture of resignation and something deeper. They connected my life force to their machinery, trying to harness Zentari energy. But the system was set to transfer the bond to the next being who opened the pod, to ensure I could never escape without creating a link. A link to what? Damien demanded, though he already suspected the answer. To you. She met his gaze steadily. Our hearts now beat in rhythm. Our breath flows as one. If you die, I die. If I am harmed, you feel my pain. We are bound until one of us ceases to exist. The words hit him like a physical blow. He checked his vital signs display, and his heart rate matched hers exactly when she took a breath. He felt the urge to breathe with her. It was impossible, yet undeniably real. There has to be a way to reverse it, he said. Perhaps. Velora's expression was unreadable, but it would require technology and knowledge that no longer exists on this world. The scientists who created this are dead, their research destroyed. She stepped closer, and he could smell something like starlight and spice on her skin. We are trapped together, human, you and I. Damien, he said. My name is Damien Cross. A faint smile touched her lips. Damien. She repeated it slowly, tasting the syllables. I am Velora of House Zentari, and it seems our fates are now intertwined. Before he could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red lights flashed, and a mechanical voice echoed from hidden speakers. Containment breach detected. Initiating lockdown protocol. All personnel evacuate immediately. Damien grabbed Velora's hand without thinking. She tensed but did not pull away. We need to move now. Heavy doors began sliding shut throughout the complex. The temperature dropped even further as life support systems shut down. They ran together through the corridors, their footsteps echoing in perfect synchronization. Every turn brought new obstacles as blast doors sealed and security measures activated. Velora moved with fluid grace despite her weakness, and Damien found himself matching her rhythm naturally. When she stumbled, he felt the impact in his own legs. When his shoulder scraped against the wall, she winced. The bond was real and growing stronger with each passing moment. They reached a junction where 3 paths diverged. Damien checked his scanner, but the energy interference was too strong. Which way? He asked. Velora closed her eyes, her hand still in his. He felt a strange, tingling sensation spread from their joined palms of his arm. Left, she said with certainty. I can sense the path through our connection. He trusted her instinct and led them left. The corridor opened into a larger chamber, filled with more experimental equipment. And there, standing between them and the exit, was something that made his blood run cold. A security drone, its weapon systems very much active, turned its red optical sensor toward them. Velora's hand tightened on his. Through their bond, Damien felt her fear and determination mixing with his own. They were in this together now, whether they wanted to be or not. The drone's weapons charged with a high-pitched whine. Damien raised his rifle, and beside him, Velora's eyes began to glow with that same violet light. Their hearts beat as one. Their breath synchronized. And in that moment of shared danger, something new sparked to life between them. Something that felt like the beginning of everything. The security drone's weapons hummed with deadly intent. Its red sensor locked onto Damien and Velora. Time seemed to slow as adrenaline flooded through his system. Through their bond, he felt Velora's energy rising like a tide of starlight within her veins. Get down, she commanded, her voice taking on an otherworldly resonance. Damien dropped to one knee and Velora raised both hands. Violet energy erupted from her palms, forming a shimmering barrier just as the drone fired. Plasma bolts struck the shield and scattered harmlessly, but the effort cost her. Damien felt her strength draining as if it were his own, his muscles trembling with phantom exhaustion. I cannot hold this for long, Velora gasped. For years without sustenance has left me weak. Damien analyzed the situation quickly. The drone was military grade, designed to eliminate any threats during containment breaches. Standard small arms fire would barely scratch its armor. But he noticed something. The device hovering behind it. A power relay feeding energy to the entire security grid. "Keep the shield up for 5 more seconds," he said. "Trust me." Through their connection, he felt her confusion, but also her acceptance. She nodded, her face glistening with effort. Damien took careful aim at the relay and fired 3 rapid shots. The first 2 bounced off the protective casing, but the third found a weak point where cables connected. The relay exploded in a shower of sparks. Lights throughout the chamber flickered and died. The drone's weapons powered down as its energy supply was severed. It hovered uselessly. Systems failing one by one, Velora's barrier dissipated, and she collapsed forward. Damien caught her, and this time she did not resist. Her body was hot against his, fever warm and trembling. He could feel her heartbeat through their joined chests, erratic and weakening. "You need rest," he said quietly, "and probably food and water." "Zentari do not consume as humans do," she murmured against his shoulder. "We absorb energy from our surroundings, from living things." She pulled back slightly, her violet eyes meeting his. "But in this dead place, there is nothing to draw from, except you." The implication hung between them. Through their bond, she could feed on his life force. It would sustain her, but weaken him. Damien considered this for only a moment before deciding. "Take what you need," he said. Velora searched his face. "You would give your strength to me? To your enemy?" "The war is over," Damien replied. "And right now, you are not my enemy. You are my responsibility. We are connected, and that means we survive together or not at all." Something shifted in her expression, a crack in the walls she had built around herself. She placed her palm flat against his chest, over his heart. Warmth flowed from him into her, not painful but deeply intimate. He felt her gratitude, her surprise, her growing curiosity about this human who showed her kindness. When she pulled away, her color had improved and her eyes glowed with renewed vitality. Damien felt tired, but not dangerously so. She had taken only what she needed, nothing more. "Thank you," Velora said softly. "That is a gift I will not forget." They moved through the darkened facility together, using the light from Damien's helmet lamp to navigate. The lockdown had sealed most exits, but Velora's knowledge of Zentari engineering helped them find maintenance tunnels that the human builders had incorporated into the design. As they crawled through narrow passages, Damien learned more about a companion. Velora had been a diplomat before the war, traveling between worlds to negotiate trade and peace agreements. She had opposed the conflict from the beginning, arguing that humanity deserved respect and cooperation rather than conquest. "My sisters called me weak," she said as they paused to rest in a junction point. "They said I was too soft, too willing to see worth in lesser species." Bitterness crept into her voice. "So when the war turned against us, they offered me as a prize to your scientists. A gesture of goodwill," they said. In truth, they wanted me silenced. "I am sorry," Damien said. "No one deserves that, not even royalty, especially not someone who fought for peace." Velora looked at him with an expression he could not quite read. "You are strange for a human warrior. Most of your kind that I encountered cared only for victory and vengeance. Most of us just want to go home," Damien replied, "to protect the people we loved. The hatred, that came from fear. And fear makes people do terrible things." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, and Damien became aware of how natural it felt to be near her. The bond had created a connection deeper than words, allowing them to sense each other's emotions and thoughts at the surface level. He could feel her loneliness, the years of isolation in that pod, the desperate hope that someone would remember her. "Why did you really open the pod?" Velora asked suddenly. "You could have left me there, reported my location, and let others decide my fate." Damien considered the question. "Because I have seen too much suffering in this war. Too many people treated as things rather than beings. When I saw you trapped in there, I saw every prisoner who died waiting for mercy that never came." He met her gaze. "I could not walk away and still call myself human." Velora reached out and touched his cheek, a gesture so gentle it made his breath catch. Your people are fortunate to have warriors with such hearts. The moment stretched between them, charged with something neither wanted to name yet. Then the facility shuddered and dust rained from the ceiling. Emergency systems were failing throughout the complex. They needed to keep moving. The next chamber they entered was different from the others. It was warmer, with walls covered in bioluminescent panels that cast everything in soft blue light. At the center stood a strange device, circular and ancient-looking, covered in the same symbols that marked Velora's armor. By the eternal stars, Velora breathed. A resonance gate? What is it? Damien asked. A piece of old Zentari technology. Very old. She approached it reverently. These were used by our ancestors to connect compatible souls across vast distances. They allowed bonded pairs to communicate and share strength no matter how far apart they were. She ran her fingers over the symbols. But they could also be used to sever bonds that were incomplete or forced. Hope surged through Damien, and through the bond, Velora felt it too. She turned to him with sad eyes. You wish to be free of me, she said quietly. I wish for both of us to have a choice, Damien replied carefully. This bond was forced on us. If we can undo it, we should at least have that option. Velora nodded slowly. You are right. I will activate it. But as she began working with the controls, Damien felt her emotions through the connection. Sadness, resignation, and underneath it all, fear of being alone again. He placed his hand over hers, stopping her. Wait! She looked up at him questioningly. If we break this bond, what happens to you? He asked. Will you have enough strength to survive on your own? Velora hesitated. I do not know. The bond has stabilized my condition. Without it, without a source of energy, I might fade. Then we keep it, Damien decided. At least until we get you somewhere safe. Somewhere you can recover properly. But your freedom, Velora protested, means nothing if it costs your life. He squeezed her hand gently. We will find another way. Together. Tears gathered in Velora's eyes, sparkling like liquid diamonds. Why do you care so much about what happens to me? Damien smiled. Because in the short time I have known you, I have seen your strength, your wisdom, and your kindness. The bond did not create those qualities. You have always been worthy of care and respect. He paused. And because when I look at you, I do not see an alien or an enemy. I see someone extraordinary. Velora's breath hitched, and then she was in his arms, holding him tightly. He embraced her back, feeling the rightness of it through every fiber of his being. The bond pulsed between them, growing stronger and deeper, and for the first time, neither of them fought against it. When they pulled apart, Velora's expression had changed. There was warmth there now, and something that looked like wonder. Perhaps this bond is not a curse after all, she whispered. Perhaps it is a gift we did not know we needed. Damien agreed. They left the resonance gate behind and continued their escape. The path led them upward through maintenance shafts and forgotten corridors. Along the way, they encountered more security measures, but working together, they overcame each obstacle. Damien's tactical training, combined with Velora's energy manipulation, made them an effective team. Hours passed as they climbed toward the surface. They talked about everything and nothing, sharing stories of their lives before the war. Damien learned about the beauty of Zentari homeworlds, cities that floated among the clouds, forests where trees sang inharmonious frequencies. Velora learned about Earth's oceans, the way sunlight sparkled on water, the feeling of sand between toes on a warm beach. I would like to see your ocean someday, Velora said wistfully. I will take you there, Damien promised. When this is over, when we are both free and safe, I will show you the most beautiful beaches on Earth. She smiled at him, and it transformed her face into something radiant. I will hold you to that promise, Damien Cross. They finally reached the service exit that led to surface. The door was sealed but not locked. Together, they forced it open, and cold air rushed in, carried with it the scent of ice and starlight. They emerged into the eternal twilight of Europa's surface. The facility entrance was only half a kilometer away, where Damien's transport waited. But between them and safety, The frozen landscape stretched out, beautiful and deadly. Velora stumbled, her strength fading again. The surface cold was sapping her energy faster than the recycled air of the facility. Damien did not hesitate. He picked her up, cradling her against his chest. "I can walk," she protested weakly. "Save your strength," he said. "Let me carry you this time." She relaxed against him, her head resting on his shoulder. Through the bond, he felt her trust, complete and absolute. It humbled him. The walk was difficult, each step a battle against the low gravity and harsh conditions. But Damien had carried wounded comrades before, and he would not fail now. Not when the life in his arms had become so precious to him. They reached the transport as emergency power finally died throughout the facility behind them. Damien secured Velora in the passenger seat and initiated the launch sequence. The small craft lifted off smoothly, leaving the doomed research station behind. As they broke atmosphere and entered the black of space, Velora took his hand. "Where will we go?" she asked. Damien looked at their joined hands, at the way her silver skin contrasted with his tan flesh. "Somewhere safe. Somewhere we can figure out what this bond means and what we want to do about it. And if we decide we want to keep it." Velora's voice was soft, almost shy. He met her eyes and saw his own feelings reflected there. In the span of hours, they had become something more than strangers bound by accident. They had become partners, protectors, and possibly something even deeper. "Then we face whatever comes next together," Damien said. "As equals, as chosen companions." Velora leaned across the space between their seats and kissed him, a soft press of lips that sent warmth flooding through the bond. When she pulled back, her eyes were shining. "Together," she agreed, "always together." The stars stretched out before them, infinite and beautiful, full of possibility. And as they set course for a distant colony where questions would wait and choices would be made, both Damien and Velora knew that whatever had begun in that dark facility was only the start of their story. The bond had brought them together by chance, but what grew between them now was entirely by choice. And that made all the difference in the universe. 3 days had passed since their escape from Europa Station. Damien had brought them to Titan Outpost, a small colony on the edge of human-controlled space. It was remote enough to avoid immediate attention, but developed enough to have medical facilities and supplies. He had friends here, people who owed him favors and did not ask too many questions. They stayed in a small habitat module on the outskirts of the main settlement. The space was modest but comfortable, with 2 sleeping quarters, a common area, and enough provisions to last several weeks. More importantly, it had privacy and shielding that would hide Velora's energy signature from any scanning vessels that passed through the system. Velora had grown stronger with each day, drawing energy from the environment and, with Damien's permission, small amounts from their bond. The connection between them had continued to deepen, evolving beyond a forced linking of the experiments into something more natural and profound. Damien found himself thinking about her constantly, the way she laughed at his stories about military life, the graceful way she moved through their small quarters, the intelligence that sparkled in her violet eyes when they discussed philosophy or science. She was brilliant, compassionate, and achingly beautiful, and the more time they spent together, the harder it became to ignore the attraction building between them. Velora felt it too. He could sense it through the bond, the way her heart rate increased when he was near, the warmth that bloomed in her chest when their eyes met. But there was also fear there, uncertainty about what it meant for a human and a Zentari to feel such things for each other. On the 4th morning, Damien woke to find Velora standing at the viewport, watching the rings of Saturn glow in the distance. She wore simple clothing he had obtained for her, soft fabrics that complemented her silver skin. Her hair fell loose around her shoulders, and in the golden light of the distant sun, she looked ethereal. "Could not sleep?" he asked, joining her at the window. "I have been thinking," Velora said quietly, "about what happens next. About us." Damien felt his pulse quicken. "What about us?" She turned to face him fully. "This bond between us has given me insight into your heart, Damien. I feel what you feel. I know what you want, but are too honorable to speak aloud." She stepped closer, and he could smell the starlight scent of her skin. "You desire me, There was no point in denying it. Yes, he admitted, but I would never force anything on you, Velora. This bond was already forced. Anything else between us must be your choice, freely made. And if I choose you, her voice was barely a whisper. If I confess that I desire you as well, that I think about your touch, your kiss, the way your heart beats in rhythm with mine, Damien's breath caught. Through the bond, he felt the truth of her words, the longing that matched his own. Then I would be the most fortunate man in any system, he said hoarsely. Velora closed the remaining distance between them and placed her palm against his chest. My people believe that bonds like ours are sacred, that they represent the connection of souls across lifetimes. Her eyes searched his. I never believed in such things before. I thought them superstition and poetry. But now with you, I wonder if perhaps the old stories were true. What do the stories say? Damien asked, covering her hand with his own. That bonded souls are destined to find each other, lifetime after lifetime. That their connection transcends species, culture, even death itself. She smiled sadly. That when two souls recognize each other, nothing in the universe can truly keep them apart. I recognize you, Damien said softly. From the moment I saw you in that pod, something in me knew you were important, that you would change everything. As I recognize you, Velora rose on her toes and kissed him, deeper and more passionate than before. The bond between them flared like a supernova, flooding them both with sensation and emotion. Damien wrapped his arms around her, pulling her close, and surrendered to the feeling of coming home. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing heavily. Velora's eyes glowed with inner fire, and Damien could feel her desire through the connection, wild and beautiful and matched perfectly with his own. I want this, Velora said firmly. I want you, not because of the bond, but because of who you are, because you saw me as a person worth saving when everyone else saw only an enemy or a tool. I want you too, Damien replied. Every brilliant, strong, extraordinary part of you. They moved together to the sleeping quarters, hands intertwined, hearts beating as one. What followed was tender and passionate, an exploration connection that went beyond the physical. Through the bond, they experienced each touch, each kiss, each moment of pleasure through both their perspectives simultaneously. It was overwhelming and perfect, a joining of not just bodies but souls. Afterward, they lay tangled together, Velora's silver skin glowing softly against his darker tone. She traced patterns on his chest, her expression peaceful in a way he had never seen before. I never imagined I could feel this way, she murmured, especially not with a human. Are you disappointed? Damien teased gently. She laughed and kissed his shoulder. No, I am grateful. You have given me hope when I thought I had none. You have shown me that perhaps the universe is not as dark as I believed. They stayed like that for hours, talking and dozing and simply existing together. But reality could not be held back forever. As evening approached, Damien's communication device chirped with an incoming message. He checked it reluctantly and felt his stomach sink. It is from Command. They are sending a recovery team to Europa Station. They found evidence of Zentari technology activation and want to investigate. Velora sat up, concern flickering across her face. They will find traces of us. Of what happened. Yes. Damien stood and began pacing. And when they do, they will come looking. For both of us. You could turn me in, Velora said quietly. Tell them you captured me. You would be a hero, decorated and rewarded. Damien stopped and looked at her incredulously. Do you really think I would do that? After everything? No, she admitted with a small smile. But I had to offer you the choice. You have sacrificed so much for me already. He returned to the bed and cupped her face gently. You are not a sacrifice. You are a gift, and I will not let anyone take you away or hurt you. Not Command, not the Zentari, not anyone. Then what do we do? Velora asked. Damien thought for a moment. We run. There are places beyond the reach of both human and Zentari authorities. Independent colonies, free stations, worlds where people do not care about old wars or species differences. He took her hand. We could build a life there. Together, if that is what you want. Velora's eyes shimmered with tears. I want that more than anything. But Damien, you would be giving up everything. Your career, your home, your people. I would be gaining everything that matters, he corrected. A partner who understands me completely. A future built on choice rather than obligation. He smiled, and the chance to show you those oceans I promised. She laughed through her tears and pulled him close. Then we run. Together. Always together. They spent the night preparing. Damien liquidated his accounts, gathered supplies, and filed false flight plans to throw off any pursuit. Velora used her knowledge of Zentari technology to modify their transport signature, making it appear as a simple cargo vessel rather than a military craft. As dawn broke over Titan, they launched quietly, slipping away from the colony unnoticed. The vastness of space opened before them, filled with infinite possibility. Damien set course for the frontier reaches, a region of space where neither government held sway and where two fugitives could disappear completely. Velora sat beside him in the cockpit, their hands joined. Through the bond, he felt her excitement, her fear, her love. Yes, it was love. They both knew it now, even if they had not yet spoken the word aloud. No regrets. Velora asked softly. Damien looked at her, at this extraordinary being who had changed his entire world in a matter of days. Not a single one. She leaned her head on his shoulder, and they watched the stars streak past as they jumped to faster-than-light travel. Behind them lay war and duty and expectations. Ahead lay freedom and love, and a future they would write together. The bond that had begun as a curse had become their greatest blessing. It had brought together two souls from different worlds, different species, different lives, and shown them that connection transcends all boundaries. That love knows no species or star system. That two hearts beating as one can overcome any obstacle. Weeks later, they settled on a beautiful world called Haven's Rest, a planet in the frontier reaches known for its purple skies and crystalline oceans. They built a home there, simple but comfortable, with wide windows that looked out over the alien sea. Damien kept his promise. He took Velora to the beach, and they walked together along shores of sand that sparkled like crushed diamonds. She laughed with delight as waves washed over her feet, and he thought he had never seen anything more beautiful than her joy. They made friends among the colonists, other refugees and wanderers who had left their old lives behind for fresh starts. Some were human, some Zentari, some from species neither of them had encountered before. On Haven's Rest, such differences did not matter. Only character and contribution counted. Velora found work as a teacher, sharing her knowledge of Zentari science and culture with eager students. Damien used the skills to help train the colony security forces, protecting their peaceful community from pirates and raiders. They built a life together, one day at a time, one choice at a time. And through it all, the bond remained, not as a chain or a prison, but as a constant reminder of their connection. They could sense each other across any distance, share thoughts and feelings with a simple touch, draw strength from their united souls. It was a gift beyond price. On quiet evenings, they would sit together on their porch, watching alien stars wheel overhead. Velora would rest her head on Damien's shoulder, and he would hold her close, grateful for every moment. "You think they are still looking for us?" she asked one such night. "Probably," Damien admitted, "but they will not find us here. We are beyond their reach now." "Good." She tilted her face up to kiss him softly. "Because I have no intention of ever leaving this life we have built." "Neither do I," Damien agreed. "This is home now. You are home." Velora's eyes glowed with happiness. "I love you, Damien Cross. I know we have not spoken those words before, but I feel them every moment through our bond. You are my heart, my soul, my everything." "I love you too, Velora," Damien replied, his voice thick with emotion. "You are the greatest adventure of my life, the best choice I ever made." They kissed under alien stars, two beings from different worlds who had found in each other something precious and eternal. The bond pulsed between them, a living testament to the power of connection and choice. The war that had brought them together was over, but their story, the story of a human soldier and a Zentari princess who chose love over loyalty, freedom over duty, and each other over everything else, was just beginning. and it would be a story that lasted lifetimes. In the years that followed, they would face challenges and triumphs. They would help build Haven's Rest into a thriving community. They would be there for each other through joy and sorrow, success and failure, always united by the bond that had once seemed like a curse, but had proven to be the greatest blessing either could have imagined. They would grow old together under purple skies, watching crystalline waves lap at diamond shores, content in the knowledge that they had found something most beings search for their entire lives and never discover. They had found home. They had found purpose. They had found love. And in a universe often cold and cruel, that was everything. The end.
Hello guys, thank you so much for coming to our channel and watching my video, my content. If you like the idea, if you like the video, please subscribe my channel for my appreciation. Thank you so much. Love you.